Hey everybody, it's Matthew. Welcome back to the channel. We're finally back to a normal video and we're going to play guitar again. Finally, I don't think there's been a guitar played in a video since the cover vlogs, which the cover that I was working on is on hold obviously right now because, well, there hasn't been an update on it in a long time. We'll get back around to it soon. But anyway, today we've got a guitar tutorial. Today we're going to be looking at Stone by Alice in Chains. This song is the lead single, I believe. It was the first single released from the Devil Put Dinosaurs Here. And we're going to be going over the song today and all of its parts, including the solo. So get ready and we're going to jump into this thing. All right, let's do our housekeeping before we get started. First off, tuning. We are in drop D flat / drop C sharp, depending on how you want to view it. We're going to talk about it in flats. So here's a D flat. Here's your A flat, D flat again, G flat, B flat, and then E flat. Alright, those are our guys to talk about. Now when you look at the tab, which is in the description for you guys to download, it's going to look a little bit weird. You're going to notice the time signature at the top is 8/8 at 76 BPM, and there's a reason for that. Now, you can count the song at 4/4 at 153, but if you do that, your snare will be on 4, and that will be the only place the snare is, and that's weird and doesn't make sense. And it's not a halftime feel, so that's totally backwards. Now, if you count it at 4/4 at half BPM, so you have 2 snares per bar, the next beat's going to start on the and of 4 and not on the 1, so the bend that happens at the top of the main riff will be on the and of 4, and it doesn't count well like that. So to fix that, we are doing 8/8 at 76 BPM, and that fixes it. That puts your snare on 4 and 8, and it sounds normal when you do that. I know that's a bit weird, but that's the most intuitive way you can count this and have it make sense. There's that to contend with. Let me get my reference for the arrangement here so I don't have to look at the tab constantly. Look at this. So we've got the intro, and really the song starts with 4 bars of only bass, and then it goes to what I have as the real intro and not just the bass. And we've got our big fat main riff. Let's take a look at that guy here, and I'm going to play it twice for you. So that's the main riff there, pretty simple stuff, and you can palm mute it. There's a weird thing with the mix of this song that makes it sound like that one guitar is playing without palm mutes, the other one is. If you're not palm muting, or if you're palm muting it, you would have the bend is open, the bend is open, these next 2 notes are open, and then everything else after that is basically palm muted. So, and that's how you would play it palm muted if you want to do it that way. You don't have to play it palm muted, I don't think, so don't worry about that. So this is a pretty simple riff though. We just have this 3/4 bend. We're not quite hitting the whole tone here on it and releasing it to about a 1/4 tone before we hit that 2nd fret. And remember that first one is staccatoed. So yeah, that first one's staccatoed, and then we just have a walk up from 0, 1, 2, and then 0, 2. And then here's the riff slow. So it's a pretty simple riff there, not anything too complicated. Alright, and we're going to do that. You're going to play it 8 times in the intro. Then you're going to go to the verse, and I forgot to mention that the main riff also is all played on the lowest string, which you obviously would have noticed. So, and while that's going on the last 4 bars of that section, you're going to have these 2 bends happening. One is going to be the 7th fret here of the next D flat. And then there's going to be another one happening that's an octave up here on the 10th fret of the B flat string. And that guy will come back later, and we'll talk about it when we get there. So we're going to do that. Then we're going to go to the verse, which is, again, the same main riff. And then we're going to play that for 8 bars. And in the last 4 of this first verse, we're going to get a fun lead break from Jerry here. And I'll show you guys that. And it's just going to fade out at the end of that. That is a little bit tricky of a guy to get down there, so you might have to play it, practice it a little bit to get it down. But let's just go ahead and go to the breakdown here of this. So we're going to get slide in to the 14th fret of the G flat. So, and you can just pick it and come in from whatever fret you want to. It usually does well to do it from at least the 9th. And then you're going to go and pick this 12th fret of the B flat, and you want those to ring together. And then after that after that 8th note there, you're going to slide back down to this 9th fret here. And you do want it to sound a little bit when you slide back down. So you do want to hear that a little bit. That can be hard to get to sound out because you need to hit these at the same time and then not have the other one ringing. So there it is. And then you're going to pick it again. And while it's still ringing there, you're going to have these notes here. So we got that 9th fret on the G flat. We got the 8th fret on the B flat, and then the 10th fret on the E flat. So you should have that chord tone there while that's still ringing out. So there's that, and then you're going to have a quick slide down from that 9th fret to the 7th fret. You can switch fingers to the first finger if you want to. So the 7th fret of the G flat. And then you're going to have 9 G flat, 10 B flat, 7th fret D flat, and then on the 8th fret of the G flat, you're going to do that and do a half bend. Here it is again, slow. And you do want this 9th and 10th fret to sound out together. That's part of how that riff goes. So there's the lead break. Now there's a thing with when we go to the lead breaks in the verses, the verse riffs do end a little bit differently. So let me show you the different part here when we go into that lead break. So you hit that power chord on the 2nd fret and then open there, and then that just rings out through the lead break, and then we turn back around to the verse riff. That lasts for that whole last half of that section, so that 8-bar verse, and then we go to the chorus, which is 4 bars, and we're still playing the same stuff. So it's that same main riff the whole time through this song. So 4-bar chorus, you're going to have the octave bends are going to come back this time on the first 3 bars of the chorus. So you're going to have that guy again. And then we're going to be adding a lead fill on those as well, which goes like this. So that can be a little bit tricky because you've got to get these fingers all working together in the right way to actually do this, but let's talk about it slow. So it's a pretty simple thing. First, you've got that rest that you see there, which is for a dotted 8th note, I believe is what it is in the tab. I do not have the tab open, but I think that's what it is. So you've got a rest to start, so you don't play this right at the beginning of the bars. Yeah. And it's going to be just a simple walk up starting on your G flat string here. It's going to go 8, 9, 11. Then you're going to hit 8 on this B flat, walk back down 11, 9, 8, and then go back to the B flat and then go 8, 10, 11. So it should be like this. Tricky thing is going to be when you're going back up or back down to this string is keeping the G flat from ringing when you're doing this ending of it. So that's the tricky part, and then that's just going to be done 3 times. So it's got that same rest on the beginning and then at the end of the bar, since this fill is pretty quick. And then after that we're going to verse 2, and again same riff still. This one is going to be 12 bars though, and you're going to have the lead break happening for bars 5 to 12, so you're playing that lead break that we talked about twice on this verse. So, and refresher, our lead break. All right, and we're breezing through this guy. There's that verse there. We're going to go to chorus 2 again, and we're going to have the octave bends and the lead fill for the whole time on this. The whole thing is going to get that because this is only 3 bars, and it's an extended bar, so there is 1 extra beat at the end of the last one that is a rest. And then the thing that changes is now we're going to a breakdown section, and remember this is in 4/4. And that's very particular because the feel does change a little bit. So, and this riff feels a lot more straight ahead. So let's go to that breakdown riff. So you can cheat this a little bit with some hammer-ons. So it's a pretty simple riff. We're going to walk up 0 on the big fat D flat string here. We're going to walk up 0, 1, 2, 3, and then 0, 2, 3, and then slide up here, go 5, 6, 5. And I do a hammer on here because that's just a little bit easier. And you can pick the 5th fret again after you pull off. So it's a pretty simple riff. Now, at the end of every other time you play that, you're going to have this little octave guy here on the 3rd fret of the G flat and the 6th fret of the E flat. And that's it. That's how it goes there. Now, live they do play that all together. Jerry will play the main breakdown riff and then play that also at the end. And that's really hard to do, obviously. You're going to probably have a lot of trouble with that. I don't really know how he's able to be that accurate with it when he's playing it, but it works. But yeah, that's the thing to keep in mind. On the record, it sounds like those are separate guitars playing that, so they aren't actually doing it that way in the studio. All right, so that's going to last for 12 bars, and then you're going to come to the solo section. First, let's talk about the backing for the solo, which is a pretty simple power chord riff here. So there it is. That's a pretty simple riff there for the backing. So we're starting here, 2nd fret, A flat, 4th fret on the D and G flat. So play that. Going to the 3rd fret power chord there. We're going to play it again and then go to the 5th and then the 7th. Okay, and then the next part's going to have the same rhythm, except we're going to go to this open power chord here instead of going to this 3rd fret here. And then the same thing as before. And then you play the whole thing from the first time around that we did, which is goes, 2, 2, 3, 3, 5, 7 power chord. And then at the end of it, the second time around there, you're going to have the big fat open chord from the D flat, the low one. And then the open chord again. which is the best way to think about that. That's just an A chord without the, third in it. All right, and now we get to the hard part, which is going to be the solo. Remember, this section lasts for 12 bars as well. So how many times will I flub this before I get it? Who knows? Let's see how we do. Okay, finally got that right. Jesus Christ. Okay, so the ending part there, kind of whatever, because you actually need a whammy bar with a Floyd Rose to do that properly. And obviously don't have that, so we can't quite do it right, but that's an approximation. Let's go to the opening lick of the solo here, which the way it's supposed to be is it's supposed to be a legato lick where you go 9, 11, 12, pull off 11, 9, 11, 12, 11, pluck. So that would be like this. Like that. I don't do it fully legato because I will do it like this. I do extra picks in there because I'm not good at legato because disability, my finger strength isn't quite good enough to do that right. So it opens with that lick here. So you play it like that, pluck that 11 at the end, like I said. And then we're going to do it again and walk down from this G flat here. We're going to go to the D flat, which is going to be 11 from here, and then 12 D flat, 9 D flat. Play the 9 again, and we're going to have this walk down on the A flat starting at 12. So that's 9 here, and then 12, 10, 12, 10, 9, 10, 9, 7. And then we're going to have the same legato lick again. So, yeah. And then the same walk down. But then this time we're going to slide into this 9th fret here, bring it out, and then we're going to play 7, 8, 7 on the B flat string. Back to 9, 10, B flat, 9, 7, E flat. So there's that. And once we do that, then we're going to have the hard part here, which is going up to the 17th fret, doing a pre-bend. And then we're going to walk down on this E flat here. Then we're going to walk down from 14 there, 15 B flat, 16 G flat. And then 11, 12 G flat. And then we're going to have 9 here, back to 11 with a half bend, and then release all the way back down. And you want it to ring for all 3 of those notes. So like that. So let's look at that part again. And then we're going to have 9 sliding to 7. Then 9 sliding to 12. And then 10, 12 on the B flat. Ending with 9 on the G flat. So here's that again. Then after that we got harmonics, 7 on the E flat, 5 G flat, 7 B flat. And then 7 for B flat, G flat, D flat. in the recording it's hard to tell. That could be a bend on the 10th fret right here. It's a bend, it could be a bend there, or there's a whammy bar move that he does there to make it sound like he's bending that note. Not sure. And then that rings out, and then you hit this fat bend on the 10th fret of the E flat. And then you can pick it and warble it down like that if you want to. I think Jerry is doing that with the whammy bar there, because then he pulls that whammy bar all the way out here and does some sort of slide, but I'm not sure. And then you have this bend here on the 7th fret of the D flat. And as it fades out, Jerry is pushing the whammy bar in, and then he brings it back out with some hammer-on on this 6th fret of the G flat, I believe, with a little half bend. But that's all whammy bar tricks there, so that sounds a little bit different when he does it. That's just an approximation there. And, you know, that's the end of the solo, obviously. So can we put that guy all together slow here? Let's see if we got it. Alright, there it is. We got through the solo. Crazy. That is a little bit of a tricky guy there, but we got through him. Okay, so that's done. Again, on the end of the solo section, when he's fading out, we are playing the verse riff is coming in on the last 4 bars of that. And then we go to first 3 for 12 bars, and we play our main riff again, which you guys know that guy already. We've seen it. Again, lead break, 4 bars 5 to 12 of that section, and octave bends on bars 7 and 8. So only 2 bars of that there. And then finally we get the chorus, the final chorus for 8 bars. So that's his double chorus here. And we're going to have the lead fill, which is, remember, the little walk-up guy that we do there for bar 5 to 12, or actually, no, hold on, for bars 1 through 3 and 5 through 7. Same with the octave bends being on 1 through 3 and 5 through 7. And then, of course, you end the song. So we have the usual riff, but the ending riff is a little bit of a cutoff here, and I'll show you that. And then that's the end. So it just ends on the walk up. And then after that little bit there that I forgot to add in about the verse riff there, we are at the end of the lesson, everybody. We got through every parts and all the arrangement of the song there, so, and the solo too. I hope you guys enjoyed this video today and you're getting that under your fingers. Don't forget to download the tab down below, and I'll leave the arrangement as well. So, you know, like and subscribe if you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a comment down below if you like. As always, don't forget to click the bell so you know when a new video is out. I'll see you guys in another video. Have a good one.